The monotonous 2x2 cubicles of the open plan office have been with us since the middle of last century. But new research suggests it may be time to rethink our workplaces.
The basic concept of the open plan was to remove the barriers to communication within an organisation. And so putting all of the workers into an open space was theoretically going to facilitate interaction, teamwork, collaboration.
But that's not quite what happened. Professor De Deer has found open plan office workers are less satisfied than those in enclosed cellular offices on almost every environmental measure.
Probably the best indicative metric for productivity on a day-to-day basis is actually self-assessment. And what the actual office workers themselves think about their productivity would indicate that there's a significant decrement in productivity in an open plan office, mainly because there is unwanted noise, and it's not really just the noise that's the issue, it's intelligible speech.
Often when we're working in an office, we clearly know a lot of the people around us and we sort of know often what is being spoken about. So in that environment, research has shown that we have this sort of feeling that we don't want to miss out, and the impact that has on people is that they can tend to have much shorter attention spans, they can become much more frustrated, much less patient with those around them, and certainly have increased levels of conflict.
And what's most apparent is the lack of control. Constant interruptions and distractions can be stressful and leave you feeling helpless and unable to concentrate. Does it have that effect on me? I'm about to find out.
So one of the things that we're going to do today is to test the effect of your cortisol levels.
So this is the test?
That's it.
Libby gives me a simple creativity quiz in the two different office environments. While I'm struggling to think of novel ways to use a coffee mug and a lawn chair, distractions around me are engaging my stress responses, even if I don't feel it.
Over the long term, if we have increased cortisol levels, it ends up lowering our immune response. Our body's not designed to sustain those types of hormones over time, and eventually that can lead to, significant health issues, heart disease, a range of different issues. So it's something we need to be conscious of.
After each test, I provide saliva samples.
How did you go?
Well, I got a lot more uses for a chair than I did for a mug.
Well, the results of the cortisol tests are here and quite interesting.
My stress levels more than doubled during my test in the noisy open plan environment. But amazingly, just 4 minutes working in a quiet office slashed my cortisol measurement to a level of relaxation normally experienced just before sleep. And my output more than doubled.
Looking at this and also the results from the cortisol tests, it's very, very clear that you being in this environment resulted in you being a lot more relaxed and far, far less stressed.
So the results are pretty clear. Noisy open plan offices are stressful. But what can we do about it? Architect Bill Dowser is looking into the future and vastly improving the open plan office.
Often the stereotypical idea of the office has been this grey, overly lit cubicle environment, and I think that getting people to work their best or getting people to feel relaxed is actually creating a more domestic feel to the working environment.
Making work more like home is one way modern offices like this one are attempting to break the cube farm mould. In the office of the future, the kitchen and the communal dining area are the heart of the workplace.
Another way to boost office morale is to bring a little bit of the outside inside. Biophilia is a term used to describe our emotional affinity to the natural world, and this can include anything from sunlight to running water to fresh air. But in an office environment, the most obvious thing to bring in is plant life.
Research has actually shown if you're in nature and natural environments, your stress levels do go down purely from things like the sight of greenery, natural light, fresh air. So incorporating a number of those different things are very important.
Nature may offer some organic relief, but what about noise?
What's interesting for us in terms of working with acoustics is that acoustics, we believe, is far more of an art than a science in terms of being prescriptive. So what we've looked at doing is by taking out the ceilings and exposing the concrete finishes, you're actually creating a background ambient noise level that gives the whole space a kind of a buzz.
Without that ambient buzz, offices can actually become too quiet, making it almost impossible to avoid distraction from your colleagues' conversations and depriving you of privacy in your own.
In the future, we're going to see some of the trends that are already starting to emerge. The key is to take it and break that open plan, so not just a sea of desks, a range of different zones, places where people can go and do uninterrupted, quiet, concentrated work, where they can shut a door if they'd like to and not be interrupted. So I think that's really the future of where we're heading.